Imagine a world of absolute freedom. Without rules, society quickly breaks down into a harsh reality where the strongest simply dominate the weak, and survival becomes a daily, physical struggle. To escape that constant threat, human beings realized they had to organize. They surrendered some of that chaotic, dangerous freedom in exchange for physical security, creating what we now call the state. This structural diagram shows the four distinct pillars required for a state to actually exist: a defined population, a specific territory, a functioning government, and sovereignty, the absolute right to rule itself without outside interference. But building a government creates a massive risk. You are handing over the absolute power to use force, and a system designed to keep order can easily tip into an abusive dictatorship. That is why we rely on a constitution. It acts as the supreme law of a country, establishing rigid boundaries and strictly defining exactly what the government can and cannot do. From that constitutional blueprint, we get everyday laws. These are the practical rules made and enforced by the state to maintain daily peace, to settle disputes, and punish those crossing the line. The state gives society its physical shape, but the Constitution and its resulting laws are the invisible forces holding the walls up, keeping us out of the chaos of the wild and safe from the tyranny of the government itself. While every modern society uses laws to maintain order, the underlying legal operating systems they use to enforce them vary based on their unique histories. This diagram shows the two most widespread legal frameworks. On the left is common law, building rules by looking at past decisions, creating a branching tree of precedents. On the right is civil law, relying on strict written codes to govern behavior. Other nations draw authority directly from faith. Islamic law bases its legal foundation on religious texts, drawing rules from the Quran and Sunnah. And in many regions, communities rely on customary law, bypassing formal written codes in favor of long-standing local traditions and community practices that have guided behavior for generations. Whether derived from past judgments, rigid texts, sacred scriptures, or ancient habits, the core function remains identical, providing an objective set of tools to resolve inevitable human conflicts. To see how these abstract rules are practically enforced, we can look at the judicial system of Pakistan as a working case study. This pyramid shows the hierarchy of the nation's courts. At the foundation, handling everyday cases, are special courts and district courts. If disputed, cases elevate to the next tier, the high courts, which review decisions made below. At the absolute peak of this system is the Supreme Court. It holds the final, unchallengeable authority to interpret the laws and deliver justice. But courts are just empty rooms without the people who run them. Universities provide legal education to train individuals for the legal profession, producing the lawyers, judges, and legal advisors who conduct intense legal research to find solutions. When an actual dispute lands in a courtroom, it follows strict mechanics. The person who files the case, the plaintiff, goes head-to-head with the defendant. Both sides must then present proof, known as evidence, to support their version of events. Once the arguments are exhausted, a judge interprets that evidence against the existing laws and delivers the verdict, ending the dispute with a final, binding decision. This entire architecture of courts and professionals exists solely to apply the rigid rules of the state to the chaotic reality of human life. So where do you fit into this massive machinery of state power and legal procedure? Your relationship with the legal system starts with your rights. These are the specific freedoms and benefits that the state is legally obligated to protect for you. These include the right to an education, the right to speak your mind freely without government retaliation, and the guarantee of equality under the law. This animated scale shows the inescapable cost of those freedoms. On one side are your rights, but they must be perfectly counterweighted on the other side by your duties, the responsibilities you owe back to the society that protects you. You fulfill these duties by paying your taxes, actively obeying the laws, and respecting the rights of the people around you. Rights cannot exist in a vacuum. Your freedoms are literally funded and secured by the collective effort of everyone doing their part. Law serves as the supreme framework where the state governs and the Constitution protects. Within this system, a delicate balance of rights and duties ensures that civilization survives.